Hey there everyone, my name is Ryan Vertucci with the Southern Maryland office of Real Property Management Gold, locally serving St. Mary's, Charles, and Calvert counties out of physical offices in Lexington Park and Waldorf. Then I want to answer questions that we receive quite often from Maryland rental property owners, and that is, how do I determine once a tenant moves out, what exactly is damage that I can charge against their security deposit, and what exactly is normal wear and tear. And this can take a little bit of this can be subjective at times. And it takes a little bit of experience to know exactly what you can and cannot do. You do need to be careful because if you do charge something against the tenant that is not that shouldn't have been charged, then you could see negative repercussions in terms of that tenant filing something against you. So here's what you need to look out in terms of damages. Damages are, things that the tenant actually did to the home due to their negligence or malice. So that means that they weren't paying attention and something happened, or they actually destroyed something. So some of the things that we see in terms of tenant damages, obviously broken windows, broken doors, holes in walls, cuts on counters from not using a cutting board, cigarette burns, excessive ivy growing up the property, or excessively unmaintained landscaping. Your tenants don't really need to do a whole lot in terms of landscaping, in terms of improving the property, but they can't let the bushes overgrow, and they can't leave the grass excessively high. The most common things that we see are when a tenant does not report something that's damaging, like if there's a small leak and they just say, "Oh, I'm moving out in 2 months, so I'm not going to bother calling that in," or they overflow the toilet and you can tell, or they pour grease down the drain and that's why it's clogged. Stuff like that at the end of the lease is stuff that we see commonly that we do charge the tenant as damage. Now, normal wear and tear, this is a little bit different. Every house is going to have normal wear and tear. Usually if you have a house and your carpet's 5 years old, it does need to be replaced. You can't really charge the tenant for the full amount of the carpet. If they do damage it, then you have to prorate it out based upon how long they've lived there and the average life of the carpet, which is usually around 5 years. Same thing with walls. There is going to be normal wear and tear on walls from moving in and out and living in a property. So you have to determine whether or not damage is done that you can charge the tenant for. If the tenants hammer things into the wall or use anchors in the wall, and they don't repair and repaint that is considered damage, not wear and tear. Now, if you see settlement cracks or other things around the home that weren't necessarily can be proven as damage, then you would have to go ahead and eat the cost of repairing that before you put the new tenant into the property. As things tend to get loose in rental properties over time, so if you see loose cabinets, cabinet hinges that become loose, loose door handles, loose railings, things like that haven't broken that you can tell are just from wear and tear, not from someone excessively damaging, then then that's wear and tear and you can't charge the tenants for it. According to Maryland state law, you do have to give the tenants the benefit of the doubt. They do come down hard on people who excessively charge tenants for things that cannot be proven as done. So it might be worth it just to bite the bullet if you see something that's borderline, rather than chasing after that tenant, going through a big ordeal that's not really needed. Okay, so that's kind of how we determine what's normal wear and tear versus damage on a rental property. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to our office. Thank you.